During the 18th and 19th century, merchants from Shanxi province in North China formed an unprecedented, expansive business network that not only controlled long-distance trade between China, Mongolia, and Russia, but also created an empire-wide banking system in China for the first time. Given these accomplishments, Shanxi merchants have become synonymous with traditional Chinese entrepreneurship. The activities of Shanxi merchants helped to integrate these frontier regions with China proper. These merchants developed a series of institutions based on the time-honored local tradition of North China, which were then adopted to suit the socio-economic condition on the frontier. These institutional innovations include the creation of new forms of native place organization, trade guides, new firm structures, and new banking system. Shanxi merchants' institutional innovation have profound impacts on late imperial Chinese society. On the one hand, these new institutions on the frontier pioneered a series of changes in China proper during the 19th century. On the other hand, Shanxi merchants used these institutions to create a new social order with mercantile power at its helm, which is radically different from the orthodox Confucian order backed by imperial ideology.
To a large extent, the success of the merchants of JIN depended on the cultivation and attraction of a large number of talents with business sense and knowledge. But how did JIN merchants attract those business talents? The system construction of JIN merchants is one of the core secrets of their success. The shareholding system of JIN merchants was the result of the long-term evolution. The separation of the two rights made the capital owners and non-capital operators give full play to their roles. It has the characteristics of modern joint stock system. First, it has realized the equity diversification and has the relative controlling shareholder. The other is the separation of ownership and management. This system played an important role in the development of JIN merchants. Jinshan Enterprises implemented the General Branch System. General Piaohao executes centralized management to Branch Piaohao. The control over General Piaohao to Branch Piaohao depended on the assessment system and the report system. Also, the secret deposit system of the Piaohao has avoided the risk of operation layer, and such a set of systematic and effective risk control measures have guaranteed the interests of Piaohao and the customer. Working inside the bank, everything needed is provided by Piaohao. It's called the supply system. The supply system pays fairly well. A special part of income is called the body shareholding system. Namely, all employees participate in sharing bonus. How much bonus you can get is decided by the size of your body share. The money you get is a considerable amount of additional income. The employment principle of JIN merchants is 1. Employ few fellow villager but not family member. 2. Choose the better to sponsor. And 3. Abnormally promoting. The first one is to strengthen cohesion. The second one is to implement guarantee system, and the last one is about breaking the rules and hiring exceptional people. At the same time, the talent training system of JIN merchants, apprenticeship system, train a steady stream of talents for the JIN merchants. The restraint mechanism of JIN merchants was to establish their own restraint mechanism by using the traditional Confucian culture. Fortunately for JIN merchants, traditional Chinese culture can be used as a basis for moral restraint. It is believed that it is a kind of supreme morality to restrain the greedy nature of human instinct. Loyalty and righteousness are regarded as the core of ethics and morality. Meanwhile, family interests are checked on one's behavior. JIN merchants have internal codes of conduct for their employees, often referred to as shop rules. Along with the incentives above, Jinshang workers are willing to be constrained, and most of them can still survive and work hard under these strict rules.
Sure. Another factor for the success of Jinshang is its corporate culture that is based on trust and loyalty, and these can be seen on the management system of Jinshang, the type of businesses and how they treat their customers. Jinshang was famous for Yin Piao, where they give the holder of Yin Piao the amount of silver as promised on it when they came to exchange, but the process was on their own accord. Jinshang was known to fulfill its promise as long as the holders were able to present their Yin Piao, even when Jinshang has lost the record. They have also followed a manager responsibility system where the owners contribute capital to fund the business while letting the managers run the business independently. Another system that was later adopted was the shareholding system. Shares were separated into major shares and minor shares, with major shares receiving dividends and taking up all the risk, and minor shares only receiving interest and bears no risk. In this system, owners of Jinshang has unlimited liability with all their property at stake, while managers had the full right to run the businesses as they wish. Owners can only decide the assignment of general managers, their pay, and the settlement and distribution of money. Even owners are not allowed to interfere with how the general managers run the business. This apparent separation between ownership and the right to run this business is certainly based on trust, as authority and benefits gained by general managers were not met with much risk as owners at all. General managers could even flee with the property of the owners when trust is not held in high regard. It resulted in a tradition of forming bonds of trust. Team spirit. Another factor contributing to the success of Jinshang is team spirit. Jinshang is region-based and strictly employs people from the same hometown that are not family members. It avoids employees from putting private factors like family matters above the businesses, and the concept of hometown gives the employees a common understanding in various aspects. For example, people from Shanxi commonly worship Guandi. The teachings of Guandi acts as a reference for their employees to be loyal to their employer and is a symbol of Jinshang. Merchant guilds of that area also helps to reduce conflict between employees and provides a platform to facilitate cooperation. This helps to bond the employees together as a whole. The way incomes are paid to employees also encourages team spirit. It contains a part of a growing salary in relation to a working experience, encouraging them to be self-restrained to remain in their business for longer periods of time to get higher pay. Another method for employees to earn income is by body shares. Employees receive dividend based on the number of body shares they have, effectively making employees getting paid more by working more. It results in further incentive for employees to cooperate and facilitate the working processes in the business.
The fourth factor is the external factor, which is the collusion between government and business. In other words, in the feudal society, any successful business again actually relies on a certain degree of collusion between the government and the business.
Welcome to the HPU Business Talk Show. I'm the host. It's our pleasure to have Professor Karas, representative of JIN Merchant and the citizen of Qing Dynasty today. So we were going to talk about the key to success of JIN Merchant regarding the social aspect. Firstly, we want to talk about the government role in order to make the JIN Merchant a big success. So why would the JIN Merchant start the shop trade business at the beginning?
At the beginning of the Ming Dynasty, the Han Imperial Court built military defenses along the Great Wall to guard against the Mongolian army. The biggest problem for those large garrisons was supplying them with sufficient food. So the imperial court commissioned a division of the police force named Kaizhongfa, whose primary responsibility was to supervise the salt trade. The Kaizhongfa then allowed merchants to do business in salt in certain ways, if they in exchange sent food to the frontier.
Oh, the government allowed them to have salt in this way. But the field in Shanxi is very barren. How can they provide enough food for the army?
In the south of Shanxi, there used to be a large salt mine. However, the fields in Shanxi were too barren to support an agriculture industry. In order to fulfill the agreement with the imperial court, the salt merchants from Shanxi had to purchase food from their neighboring provinces. This was the first step taken by the JIN merchants, which eventually led to their future success.
Oh, why is salt trade so profitable, and how does it make JIN merchant become successful?
Because salt trade is a monopoly, as only the government had the right to do salt trade. Thus, after Kaizhongfa, JIN merchants can also do salt trade and gain large amounts of profit, since the citizens have to buy salt from them or government.
They seem very successful throughout the Ming Dynasty. Do they face any difficulties?
In the late Ming Dynasty, the government adopted the Sifa later, which allows everyone can use money to purchase the right to do salt trade. Thus, they got many competitors. This results in the rise of JIN merchants doing other business.
Oh, then how do they overcome it?
They started to trade with other countries such as Xinjiang, Mongolia, and Russia.
Did the government do anything to help them to trade with other countries?
In 1727, the Qing Imperial Court signed the Treaty of Kayata with the Russian Empire, which meant that Kayata was opened up as an international business market between China and Russia. Tea was the most popular product among the Russian purchasing agents, which helped the JIN merchants and led to their most prosperous era. From then on, the JIN merchants were able to open up a much larger market, and the merchants' cartel grew stronger and stronger. The merchant trade attracted more and more people.
Well, since we gathered enough information in terms of government role in order to make them success, so let's talk about the cultural aspect in order to make you guys success. So we all know that JIN merchant have created brilliant success. What actually makes you guys a success in terms of culture?
Some people think that our success is because of adopting some unique ways of doing business, but I would say the adoption of commercial ethics of credibility is essential to our success. Integrity is the core concept of management because we are deeply influenced by the Confucian's culture. Confucian's businessmen believe honesty is fundamental and value the needs of society. In fact, we are mainly formed by high-ranking officials, landlords, and merchants. That's why we won't do business and invest commercial capital by adopting aggressive method. We are therefore no superior to other merchants group in the ways of doing business. What creates our outstanding business is our down-to-earth experience and operation.
Yes, their spirits is commonly known as JIN merchant spirits. They are professional and they focus on the community.
Okay, so what is the citizen impression towards the JIN merchant during Qing Dynasty?
I think they put the social needs in the first priority rather than their profits. We really appreciate their contributions, especially what they did during the siege of the international legation. Chang, which pioneered the Chinese banking industry, is one of the most successful JIN merchants group during Qing Dynasty. In the 19th century, the East Power Alliance captured Beijing and caused the Beijing branches of Chang to be looted. As I remember, I was holding the bills of exchange and rushed to the headquarters and request cash. The person in charge didn't show any hesitation and grants my request.
Oh, that's our responsibility. We think that nothing is more important than our business reputation. Actually, not only the headquarters of Chang upholds the mottos of being honest and trustworthy, but also the branch in Shanxi. At that time, many nobles fled to Shanxi in a hurry without bringing their gold and silver from their home. But the problem is that the bills of exchange only has a code in it, but doesn't mark the record of the deposit amounts. The deposit amounts of each customer is only recorded by the bank. Unfortunately, the account book was lost during the war.
Yes, without an account book, Rishengchang have no way of knowing who and how much the customer has deposited in their accounts. Under this circumstance, the person in charge of the Shanxi Rishengchang could actually explain its difficulties to the customers and then make arrangements after they settle the issues. Such a request can be said to be reasonable. However, the Rishengchang did not do so. What they did was, as long as the customers took out the bills of exchange, regardless of the amount of money, their request will be granted immediately.
Shanxi branch of Rishengchang is undoubtedly bearing huge risk. Facing the crowd of people, coupled with the inability to verify the truth of the bills, if the staff is slightly careless or someone lied on the deposit amount, the business will probably get into trouble. However, they still choose to trust the customer and consider the needs of customers during the war because they promise to cash whenever their customers need. They don't want to violate their promise because we JIN merchants think that the valuable credit accumulated by us is of unique value and it is the precious heritage for entrepreneurs today and in the future. We hope that every single entrepreneur can uphold our motto, honest and trustworthy.
Good, this is at the end of our talk show. Thanks for watching and thanks for coming.
Inspiration to modern business management. Employees, especially core employees, they are the important assets of the company. They make a significant contribution to the success of an enterprise. So indeed, JIN merchants are adopted an effective incentive systems that include both the material incentive and mental incentive to motivate the employees and unearth their potential, which is their key to success. First, regarding the material incentive, the employees will be provided with preferential welfare treatment, and also the JIN merchants will implement the single policies, which refers to that the core employees will have the same rights to receive dividends when profit is earned. So this effectively increases the motivation and sense of belonging of workers. In modern business, especially the SMEs, the incentives offered to employees is inadequate as the owner may try to minimize their expenses. However, if we want the company can have a higher performance, we need to provide more incentive to the employees. So JIN merchants practice can provide a good direction for them. Increasing the material incentive can further increase the operating efficiency of the company. This may be a way to enhance the team role and motivation of workers. Not only the material incentive, mental incentive is also important to increase the motivation of workers. Shanxi people quite emphasize on trusting the employees. Separating ownership and management and delegating authority to employees are the common practice of Shanxi businessmen. This can enhance the overall performance of the company. In modern enterprises, people are the core resources to shape the enterprise brand, while trust can motivate employees, fully mobilize the passion of them. Therefore, the supervisor may delegate part of their authority to subordinates and trust their ability.